Welcome back to Naval Gazing at Camp David. This week we're doing something just a little different. This week we are gazing into the near future at new yachts that have been announced but not yet completed hull number 1. Our future yacht today is a brand new design drawn from the founder's deep experience in the marine industry combined with an exciting Italian design house. She's been built in Dubai and will be a full aluminum hull, the Portofino 47. I had never heard of Portofino Catamarans until John from the Barefoot Doctors mentioned the yard in a comment. He said, "We found a new design that can be personalized in Dubai. Portofino is the brand and they have a 48, 52, and 67, but are open for any variations as each boat is built to your specs. They will give us centreboards that kick up if you hit the bottom, lifting rudders so can be beached, draft of only 2 feet, water collection system, lithium, and 10 kilowatt DC chargers able to run the AC without engines on for 8 to 12 hours and recharge in 1 hour of engine time, no generator. Transom entry into the hulls, dedicated engine rooms, and many other innovations. They are priced below Garcia but above Leopards. They are based in Dubai using Italian designers and builders, and they have a female naval engineer on their staff, Martina, who is lovely as we met her and the owner, Rafaelle, when we were in Dubai. So I went looking for Portofino on the web with really very little luck. This is because they are not called Portofino Yachts or Portofino Catamarans, but Portofino Marine Services. It turns out that the layout of this 47 was designed for a customer of Portofino Marine Services who wanted an upgrade from a lagoon after 8 years of living on board. Rafaelle and his team at Portofino Marine Services had customized and serviced his lagoon during the 8 years of ownership, and together they designed the layout and systems on board based on his 8 years of experience and Rafaelle's 40 years in the marine industry as a captain, surveyor, and service manager. Saturo Studio is the Italian team of architects, Francesco Viola, Alberto Frula, and the female touch by Federica Fino, and I do apologize folks for my terrible Italian pronunciation, who designed the boat with Rafaelle's support and the structural calculation by naval engineer Emilio D'Onofrio. The goal was to design and build an aluminum boat based on Rafaelle's experience of 30 years on the sea and 15 in the yard services field, in order to produce custom-made boats with everything needed for a safe and comfortable long passage. The Portofino's design brief includes strong hulls and good performance thanks to the super light 5083 marine aluminum alloy, reliable boat for safe and fast navigation with simple maintenance thanks to the design of very easy access to all the components, redundancy of systems where possible, center hull engines to allow back cabin access to the swimming platform and straight into the water, cockpit kitchen that will disappear under the sofa, DC 48 volt electrical system with less ampere in the wires to provide safe power to all the electronics. High power components with 2 inverters, 5 kilowatts each, to obtain 10 kilowatts of 230 volt AC, including a large lithium battery bank to power the air conditioning full overnight without generator running. All the technical equipment are designed as per 24MT boat standard. Now, I have no idea what that is. If anybody does, if you could leave it in the comments. I tried to Google it, but I couldn't quite find it. Much higher than other yards of the same size. Starting from the 52, they have an optional central lifting keel with an automatic release system in case of impact. Now, I was speaking to Rafaelle and he indicated that if we moved the engine and lost the rear access to the swim platform, you could do a lifting keel on the 47 as well. All welding is done by certified welders with more than 15 years of experience in aluminum vessel construction using leading edge Fronius gear. And happily I do know what that is, as I am in the metal business. Today, we are going to review its specifications, pricing, and layout against 3 similar, not as yet released vessels, do a full tour asking what would Sylvia say, have a look at the used market for 3 to 5 year old comparables, and that's a bit of a challenge, especially in an aluminum hull. And finally, give it a Dave score and compare the results to all the previously reviewed yachts. Looking at this yacht, you can immediately see the incredible lines. It does not look like any other aluminum hull vessel. For some reason, aluminum hull vessels all have these awful straight lines. Nobody's put a lot of effort into actually sculpting the hull, but it turns out that Portofino has and will. You can see that you've got a beautiful rear cockpit. You've got a hydraulic lifting platform for the dinghy. You've got a beautiful fly bridge and lounge, and you've got rear slanted front windows to avoid any kind of solar energy coming into your cabin. Looking at the front here, you can see a beautiful cockpit with saloon access direct through to the front cockpit. You also have, what's highly unique, is a front ladder to the ocean through the nets. I think that's just extraordinary. Here we've got some pictures of the first hull number 1 in construction, and you can see all of the effort and detail that's going into it. It really is a gorgeous looking shape. Those reverse bows, they're actually turning this aluminum hull into something really quite sculpted, almost molded. Jumping into the numbers, we're actually comparing this to 5 vessels. 2 that exist, so we have good real-life comparisons, and 3 that as yet have not been launched. So the first unlaunched is the Portofino 47. The second is launched, just barely. It's the Balance 482. The third, unlaunched, is the new Outremer 52. The fourth, launched just recently, the Katana Ocean Class 50. And the fifth, unlaunched as yet, the Neil 52. So looking at the profiles, quite a stark difference here. That reverse front windshield really stands out. I actually really quite like it. It looks rugged and very masculine, and not to mention incredibly functional. The others, the balanced profile, we're very used to. They carry that across all of them. The Outremer 52 is the similar profile to the 55. They've really modernized that 51 design, and they've really done a fabulous job. We'll review that one in the future. The Katana Ocean Class 50, some incredible innovations there, some great floor plan, and some really bad points that I talked about in my last review. The Neil 52, really a fabulous step forward for this brand, and we'll see the numbers on this one, but he's done some tremendous corrections to some of the shortcomings of the 51. Hopping down in onto the cabin top now, you can see the Portofino there. She's got, the hulls aren't desperately fat. It's not like the big sort of guppy lagoon top down that you would normally see. And you've got that very nice sky lounge and flying bridge up there. The Balance 482, of course, classic and clean, very, very nicely done. The Outremer 52 is going to be another beauty. Sorry, I didn't have a line drawing of that one. Katana Ocean Class 50. Again, a nice design. You've got that mid-level helm there, and an effort at a sort of a faux front cockpit, but quite nice, and a tremendous saloon space the way they've done it. The Neil 52 is an absolute triumph from what I've seen, and you'll see it when we get down into the cabin. But here you've got performance, you've got really reasonable weight, you've got a fly bridge, you've got a flying sun pad, you've got a mid-level helm, you've got a saloon, a huge saloon, a nice rear cockpit, and depending on what you do with your salon, you could have a full walk-around berth, or you can have berths in either hull and just a psychotically massive saloon. Now, let's hop down into that saloon, and here you see the Portofino, really a nice job. You've got a really good-looking rear cockpit, good size, and you've got access out the sugar scoops to the ocean. And then inside, a lot of space. You've got a beautiful island, an unusual shape that kind of breaks up the traditional space. The galley is extremely large and well positioned, really nice settee, good seating space. And of course, I love that front access to the forward real cockpit with cocktail table. And then of course, your front net staircase down into the ocean. Now, that is an incredibly cool feature. The Balance 482, you can see a much smaller saloon area and much smaller cockpit. The Outremer 52, same scenario, almost identical in square footage probably to the 42, although I think the 482 might be a bit bigger. Ocean Class 50 from Katana, massive saloon. They have made it sort of an indoor-outdoor and a small cockpit, very similar to the Bally style, but a nicer door system on this one. The Neil 52, now this one rocks your socks. I have not shown both layouts here. We'll do that when we go to the actual 52 review. But you can see they have turned around the main bed. It's full walk around. They've got a really nice cockpit. They've extended the settee in the saloon now and moved it forward where it should be. The nav station is directly forward of the settee, and the galley is slimmed down a bit. It was a little absurd in the 51, and here it's tucked in forward of the owner's suite, but you'll see when we get into the hulls what they've done there as well. So let us hop into the hulls. Now here is where the Portofino really shines. You know, I'm trying to get Sylvia onto a boat, and Sylvia looks at her bed, and then she looks at a boat, and she goes, that's tiny, that little squeezy little bed, I can't walk around it, how do I make it? Well, here you have it. Look at that beautiful, full walk around bed in the master hull. You've got a little settee there. You have gobs of storage space for clothing. You have a massive aft head and bath and shower and access right out onto the sugar scoops, so that when you're wet from swimming, you can go straight into your master bathroom there. Over on the guest side, again, massive, beautiful, three-sided walk-around VIP suite, and then a forward set of bunks, and what looks to be, and I don't know for sure, but it looks to be a significant storage space accessed from inside the hull. So this to me is spectacular. The hulls are not extraordinarily wide, so that bodes well for the performance numbers on this. The Balance 482, no surprises here. Really nice layout. I've been on board this, and incredibly comfortable. Just oozes quality. It is a tremendous feeling vessel. I could easily live on the 482. Outremer 52. The hulls, of course, quite narrow, but they have used that extra space in the guest hull, the forward compartment there. They can turn that into whatever you want. It can be a dressing room, it can be a child's room, it can be a workshop. I think that's just a brilliant idea, and you're seeing that more and more. I don't need that many bunks in my liveaboard. The Katana Ocean Class 50, they really shine in the layout of their hulls. They don't have full walk around, but they have access on at least a good 2 sides, which is all I'd need. They feel roomy, they feel airy, they feel open. It's really, really well done. The Neil 52, here we go. So you'll see on the starboard hull, you actually walk down out of your owner's suite on the main floor into your dressing room, where you have gobs of space for storage. You have access to a decent sized head. It would seem that Eric isn't big on double sinks. He did have the space here to stretch this out more, but he has gone with a laundry room in that forepeak area that is a overhead accessed berth on the port side ama. You've got the center hull then, which we always thought should be a good place for a good sized berth. I'd love to see some renders. There are no renders of this yet. And for some reason, the day head only takes part of that forepeak in the center hull. I would have thought you could have done the mother of all bathrooms up there and turned that center hull into your master. But for some reason they haven't. So we'll have to wait and see what the renders are. They're anticipating launching this at Cannes next year. Moving on to the numbers. So here we are. I've actually split this now so that you can see these a little bit better without squinting. So as we look at pricing, again, I warn you, pricing is a vague estimate at best because it changes by the day with logistics, exchange, material costs going up. It's a little crazy, but this gives you some kind of a reference point between them. Base price in euro on the Portofino is a remarkably affordable $861,200. Remember, $861,200. This is an aluminum hulled vessel. You're not worried about holding this thing. You bang it out. You wouldn't patch it up. The safety factor, if you elected to have the retractable keel, the ability to beach this thing, the safety factor again on the retractable keel, your beautiful forward staircase, your beautiful, wait till you see the actual cockpit itself and what they've done with the roof of the bimini. There are so many aspects to this boat that are so extraordinary, especially in the renders. I'm dying to see what the actual result is. You can see a woman's touch in this design, and if it's half as good as what the renders look like, this is going to be a staggering value. So the balance at base price of €1,157,310. So we're talking, 400 more? 300 more. The Outremer 52 at $1,090,000. So we're talking 200 more. The Katana at $915, so about 75 more. And the Neil 52 at $899, an excellent value. The value between the Neil and between the Portofino, hard to, to me, they're about the same value for different reasons, but they're both outstanding values. Now, heading then to the sail-aways, you can see I typically add 50% to the base and calculate the sail-away. The Canadian one is in red, the US one is in blue. Now, here's where the numbers get very interesting. So length overall, the Neil 52 is the longest at a even 52 feet. The Portofino is at 51 feet. The beam on the Portofino is 27 feet, and on the Neil, you're, of course, 28.87. But still, given that the Neil is a trimaran, that's not a huge difference. You got, what, 2 feet there? The draft. So the shallowest draft on this is the Outremer 52 with its dagger boards up at 1.07 meters. The Portofino is a decent 1.3. Looking at the displacement, you got the Portofino at 16.53 ton. She's not a lightweight, but she's aluminum, and 16.53 ton for a 51-foot yacht is nothing to sneeze at, especially when you see the features on board this. The balance is the best at 12.5 ton, so she's looking 4 ton lighter. The Outremer 52, tied with the balance at 12.5 ton. The Katana is sitting at 14.5 ton. That is only 2 ton less than the aluminum 51-foot Portofino. And then we've got the Neil at a surprisingly light 12.6 tons. So the Neil, when you see the square footage on board this thing, is 0.1 ton more than the much more expensive Balance and the much more expensive Outremer. So heading down then into upwind sail area. So in this case, what I did was I always take what is the base configuration. Now in most cases that is a self-tacking jib, but in some cases it is a Genoa, and I just go with the base. So if it's a Genoa, I go with that. If it's a self-tacking jib, I go with that. That may not be terribly fair, but that's the way it is. So you can do your own SAD and D over L calculations based on the Genoa if you wish. In this case, upwind sail area in the Portofino, we're looking at 141 square meter compared to the Balance at 133, the Outremer 52 at 155, the Katana at 154, and the Neil 52 at 166, let's call it, square meters. So Eric didn't go shy on the upwind sail area on this. As we look then to the tankage, the Katana leads with 800 liters each of water and fuel. Portofino's at 440 on fuel and 550 on water. Looking now onto the performance numbers, we're looking at the hull materials first. The Portofino, of course, is all aluminum. And of the rest, the Katana appears to be the strongest with e-glass and carbon fiber, Twyron cloth, which is like Kelvar, reinforcements, vinyl ester foam core. So that's certainly the strongest. Now the Neil is polyvinyl ester PVC foam sandwich with quadraxle glass cloth. And I know everybody poo-poos vinyl ester, but if you're getting the 12.6 ton with vinyl ester and a good anti-osmosis coating on the outside, what was it the guys on the Admiralty said? Cheap and cheerful. It allows you to go basically anywhere in the world, and if you have damage, anywhere in the world can fix it. If you're dealing with fancy epoxy and carbon fiber, you are going to have your issues. So on the sail area to displacement, the Neil is a staggering 33.25. The closest is the Outremer at 31.23, followed by the Katana at 28.09 and the Balance at 26.8. Now the Portofino, with its weight and with the fact it's aluminum and all its benefits, is at a very respectable 23.29. That's better than any of the other big three. The displacement to hull length, the leader then, this is like golf, the lowest score wins. The leader, and this indicates heaviness as opposed to the previous one, which was power. So the Neil 52 again leads at 80.01, followed by the Outremer at 81.71, followed by the Balance in this case at 99.3, followed by the Katana Ocean class at 108.84. And the Portofino is at a distant fifth at 162.16. If you're enjoying the content, please take a moment and subscribe. Have your wife and girlfriends subscribe because 99% of you are men, and I'd really like some females indicating positive vibes to Sylvia here. And share this out with a couple of other friends. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Hopping on board. What would Sylvia say? So we hop on board those sugar scoops. You look at this cockpit. Now I want you to have a peek at the ceiling there of the cockpit canopy. It appears to be wood. That looks so incredibly classy. I mean, I like a nice faired and finished canopy top or bimini top, ceiling, but this takes it to a whole new level. If it looks anything like that in the finished product, this will be spectacular. Plus you've got a beautiful sunroof in there. Now we're zooming in here on that rear seat, and you can see it there, very comfortable settee, but whoa, it pops up and there's your full kitchen. Isn't that outstanding? So then now backing out again, we're going to head up the side deck here up to the front cockpit, and that fabulous ladder that disappears there into the ocean so you can slide down into the water. What a fabulous feature. Look at the access to the ocean you have right there. So back up on top, look at that beautiful cockpit, fabulous access right in from the saloon so you don't have to stagger up the side decks. So heading back those side decks, we're going to go up onto that beautiful flybridge. Again, look at the underside of the flybridge bimini. It looks like it's wood. It also has a beautiful sun window in it so that you can see your sails. But look at the fabulous saloon tables and the settee in the back, and a beautiful, at least 3-person settee there in the front for your nav. Back down into the cockpit here, we're heading now into the saloon. Now look at this saloon. Again, these are renders. This is a very customizable boat, but what I see, I absolutely love. You can see the indirect lighting there. If you look up into the left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see a little orientation to give you a sense of where this perspective is from. But you can see a front-facing nav, nice slide-away stool there, and then a beautiful coffee table with your settee there. The kitchen, you can see what I'm talking about, that galley island. It looks terrific. They've got their compression post and their sail right in the middle of the boat where it should be, and it really doesn't bother you one iota. Look, this is looking from the actual settee and the eating area, and then back out angularly into the kitchen, the galley area. Now looking from the front back through the lounge area, you can see all the space you have there, nice opening windows. Here we are looking across from the starboard side to the port side to give you some perspective on that island and that beautiful lounge area with the raising and lowering table there. So, heading down into the port owner's hull, look at this fabulous owner's berth. Not too high, not too low, beautiful full access, beautiful skylight above it for ventilation, great windows everywhere you look. Here we are now looking from the forepeak backwards. You can see the skylight, all the storage. We're going to head down the hall now. And here we are looking now forward. Lovely little settee. Look at the size of the windows and the sky hatches there for ventilation. And now as we swing over to the side, you can see this fabulous work area. Great natural light. I mean, anybody could spend hours there and not feel claustrophobic. Now we're in the aft. We're in the actual head. We're at the aft of the head looking forward. Fabulous natural light from the ports up top and the side ports. And, you know, it looks so refined. So here we are now. We are at the forward end of the head looking aft out that aft door right onto the sugar scoops. Is that not outstanding? You could walk right off of your swim right into the bathroom. And now we're looking forward along the owner's hull, and then you can see the little settee, you can see the desk on the left there. Now we're just going to head up and back into the salon. Looking down on the boat, I mean, she is a beautiful, beautiful boat with so many features. You got a forward upper sunning pad there, mountains of space. I don't know how they do this in 51 feet. It feels much larger than 51 feet. I love all the teak all the way up and down the side decks. It looks absolutely stunning. It does not look like the awkward aluminum hulls we've seen in the past. Okay, moving on to pre-owned comparables. Here we are with the Lagoon 50. Bearing in mind our sail away price estimate on the Portofino 47, which is actually a 51-foot boat, is about 1.2918. So 1,291,800, 1,300,000. And what we're looking at here for the Lagoon 50, she's a 21, so it's a 1-year-old boat, is about $1 million, 990,000. So we're looking at about 300 difference. I would immediately do the Portofino. If she's half of what she looks like, you got an aluminum hull, you've got so many other modern features, you've got full 3-sided access to your berths. I mean, there's just so many things on the Portofino. Easily worth the 300K difference, wouldn't even hesitate. Next, we have the Fountain Peugeot Saba 50. This is a 2018, it is 3 years old, and they're asking $1 million versus $1.3 million for the Portofino. Hands down, wouldn't even think about it, it'd be a new Portofino. Now, we're going to look at a 16 Privilege Series 5. So we're talking a 5-year-old boat, extremely luxurious, beautifully finished inside. They're looking at $1.1 million versus $1.3 million for the brand new Portofino. I'm sorry, if the Portofino, again, is half as good as it looks in the renders on the interior and the quality and the details and the luxury elements they put in there, it wipes the floor with the Privilege because the performance is way higher, the durability with the aluminum hull's better, there's more technology, more capability, love it. Our last boat here, sorry, not our last boat, second to last boat is the Outremer. So we're looking at an Outremer, it's a 20, so it's a 1-year-old boat. It's an Outremer 51. They're asking 1.37, so 1.4 million, 100 grand more than a brand new Portofino. For me, and for probably the vast majority of people, it would be the Portofino. For the aggressive sailor who wants that little more edge of speed, of course, you're going to go with the Outremer. But wow, the benefits the Portofino have are staggering. Finally, I hunted and hunted to find one aluminum comparable. And unfortunately, there's just not that many of them. I mean, the Discovery aluminum yacht, the Garcia version, aluminum catamaran, the Explo Cat, there's none used out there. Van has only launched their first R4 and are building their R5, so there's none of those out there. I think way back when Sunreef did some of their first hulls in aluminum. So finding a comparable aluminum hull is difficult. But here's an example from 2014. So it's an 8-year-old boat, and it looks exactly like you'd unfortunately expect an aluminum hull to look. Very angular, not very elegant, not very pretty. Here it is for $600,000 US. In a heartbeat, I'd pay the 1.3 and get the new Portofino. Okay, let's go to the Dave score. Bearing in mind, this is the preliminary Dave score because we haven't been on board this boat. Looking at the Dave score. So, not surprisingly, the Portofino did extremely well. Sylvia would love this boat. I could definitely get her on board this boat. The sense of safety and security, the sense of home, It's all there. So elegance on the exterior, on the interior, definitely an 8 out of 10. If it could easily be a 9 out of 10, but I'd have to see it in real life. The exterior, 9 out of 10 on elegance. There are so many aspects to it that are so elegant, with that fly lounge, that rear cockpit and built-in kitchen, the front cockpit, the beautiful stairs into the ocean. It's all there. Comfort, interior, give it a 9. Even the VIP suite has 3-sided access to their berth. The access right out onto the sugar scoops from the owner's hull. I mean, it's fantastic. The exterior, give it a 9. There's so many factors to this, from the hydraulic tender lift to the ladder out, or to the staircase out front. It's all there. The quality, again, not having been on board, but perception-wise, in the design, if they execute the way they design, it's easily going to be an 8 and probably could be a 9. Performance, it's a solid 7. There's nothing wrong with that sail area over displacement figure. The Lazy Sailor, I'm going to give it an 8. I understand this might even come with furling boom or furling mast. The Condo, it's a 9 without a doubt. The Geek Score, this is way up there. There's so many innovative aspects to this boat. Value for money, it looks like it's a 9. It's a very reasonably priced boat for what you seem to be getting. So there it is, 85 out of 100, tied with a privileged 580, which is a boat that is 4 times the price. And a little ahead of the Outremer 55, simply because it fits closer to what Sylvia would jump on board. Now, if you want to get in touch with Rafaelle and the folks at Portofino Marine Services, remember, it is Portofino Marine Services, not Portofino Yachts or Catamarans. Here's their contact information, and I think you're really going to enjoy chatting with them. Rafaelle has been incredibly gracious with me as I've asked my questions. He's been so helpful. And that same feedback came from John of the Barefoot Doctors, as well as his interaction there. I understand they've got 10 hulls on negotiation right now, and nobody's even heard of them. So I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek week. We haven't had wine, we haven't had art, but we've looked into the future, so that should be good. Please come back next week, share this out, and have a great week. Thanks for watching.